Joining us is John Dickerson, CBS News political analyst. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
People have already talked about the House, and a lot of places have already said House is done. Republicans are going to win the House. The Senate, though, is very, very, very much in play. And let's talk about some of these states where it really is kind of super critical.
That's right. What we've got here are just the states that are in play. There are 12 of them. Republicans need 10 Democratic seats to take over the Senate. They've got 4 sort of in the bag,
right,
or that are trending their way. We're going to turn a 5th one,
right,
Wisconsin, red.
This is Russ Feingold's seat.
That's exactly right. So that means they've got 5 that are looking like they're going their way. 4 are toss-ups. That would bring them to 9 if they won all of those toss-up states. Then Republicans would have to win one of these states we think is kind of trending blue.
Let's talk a little bit about West Virginia, and Bill talked about it in his piece last night. The debate happened. Was there any sort of definitive takeaway? Because that's tighter than a tick on, Grandma Sally's old hound, as Dan Rather would used to say.
Yes, a well-known expression in West Virginia. It's absolutely tight. Nothing happened in the debate.
Right,
they both kept their lines. The dog didn't bark, so we'll now have to wait till election.
All right, let's go back and look at some of these poll numbers again, because in the end of the day, these elections are really all about the great American middle. The right tugs one way, the left tugs another way, and which way does the middle go? We're talking about independents who voted for President Obama 2 years ago, at least in terms of the House races are concerned. Look at these numbers. Less than half are going to vote for a Democrat.
That's right. The middle is not going toward the Democrats. And the president, at this point, it's out of his hands. There are independents going to Republicans or thinking about something else. Conventional wisdom, and it may get turned on its head in this election, but says that the independents often break towards the challenger, which in this case would benefit the Republicans.
And that's a big, fat number that's out there just sort of floating around. Let's go back to the Senate map again and talk about just how this thing could actually end up playing out.
Well, we've got the president's on the road trying to work not so much on those independents, but on hardcore Democrats.
Right.
He's going to be, we can start with Nevada, where he will be at the end of this week. This is the Democratic Rescue Mission.
Right.
Harry Reid, the Democratic leader, he's had Bill Clinton out there. Vice President Biden will be there Wednesday. The president's going. They're sending blankets and first aid because in this state they need the turnout operation to turn out. They've got a very good one.
Right.
So the question is, can the Democrats turn out their base versus the incredible enthusiasm of the Tea Party?
Yeah, and that's and there's a lot of organized labor out there too. That really is, talk about bellwether. But then the other one is way out on the West Coast.
Well, we've got California. The president will be stopping there. This is one, if the Democrats lose California, it's a blue state.
Right.
If they lose this, they're going to lose the Senate.
Yeah.
It's quite tight, but Barbara Boxer is just slightly ahead. The president will go out there and try again to turn out those Democrats.
And last but not least, Washington, which, I guess people have been trying for years to figure out exactly what Washington state is, and this is another opportunity to try and get some definition.
Well, that's right. Well, Patty Murray, who ran the mom in tennis shoes, but she's now running for her 4th term. Dina Rossi trying to make her the mom in Washington shoes. The thing about this race is you can mail in your ballot. Most people will. Right up until Election Day. A quarter of the ballots come in after Election Day, which means if it's as tight as we've been saying, on Election night, we could all be waiting for Washington, and then the next day, and the next day.
So if it ends up as tight as some people anticipate, and it all ends up to Washington, whether that is that crucial 10th state for Republicans, we could be sitting there 3 weeks later.
We'll take the board and all of us, and we'll go to Washington State and sit there for a couple of weeks.
All right, John Dickerson, thank you so much.